Hi, and welcome back to Lisa's Stamp Studio. I'm using a brand new promotional suite of products called the Ornate Garden Suite. Although this product suite is going to be featured in a new catalog in June, you're able to pre-purchase it now during a special promotional period, and I'm pretty certain you're going to want it when you see the cards that I've created. I'm going to be demonstrating one with you today, and I'll be sharing several other samples with you. You'll be able to find the pictures, cutting dimensions, and the supplies for today's cards down in the video description below. You'll find a link if you scroll all the way down under the words Show More. And if this is your first time visiting my channel, I would love to have you subscribe. Make sure you click the small bell icon that's next to the subscribe button so you'll receive notifications when I'm live right here on YouTube, as well as when I upload a new video. Let's head over to the stamp table and let's get started on today's project. Here's a good close-up of the card we're going to be creating together today. I'm excited to walk you through this as well as show you additional samples I have using these products. I'm going to start out by stamping the greeting on one of the pieces of paper that I've previously die cut before you joined me. You'll find this rectangle stitch die part of the beautiful Ornate Layers die set. This is just part of a huge suite of products. These products are available individually, as bundles, or as an entire suite, and I'll talk to you more about those as we go through the video. The one thing I love about Stampin' Up! Is the color coordination, so I'm going to be using the Terracotta Tile ink pad, which coordinates with the colors in the Designer Series paper that I'll be using. This suite also includes the Ornate Thanks stamp set, and you can see that it's quite abundant. The beautiful greetings here are accompanied by various different phrases so that you can build custom greetings and sentiments for your cards. They are photopolymer, which makes them really easy to use. I'm going to go ahead and ink that up, and I'm going to stamp that here near the top. I'm switching over to the Early Espresso ink pad. Again, that color is part of the Designer Series paper, and I've mounted the words, "You're amazing." We'll ink those up and I'll stamp those right below the word thanks. I'm going to push that off to the side for just a moment, and I've got a piece of thick Whisper White cardstock here. I'll be using that same Early Espresso ink, and from one of the other stamp set as part of the suite of products, I'll be using the Small Daisy from the Ornate Style stamp set. Beautiful large cluster of flowers here, some borders, as well as decorative elements that coordinate beautifully with the rest of the products. I'm going to ink this up and I'll stamp that here. I'm going to be using alcohol-based markers to create a custom blend of color. The Designer Series paper in this suite uses a brand new color that has not been introduced yet. So therefore, while it's in the designer paper, we don't have the accessories available just yet. That includes the markers. But I found I was able to create a custom blend by using two of the other markers that we have. The alcohol-based markers are dual-tipped, and I'll start with the dark So Saffron for the lighter shade on the bottom, and I'll go ahead and color in this daisy. To add a little extra definition, I'm going to choose the light Mango Melody marker, and I'm going to go right over the lines that the artist placed in the stamp set. As the alcohol dissipates, you're going to find that this is a very subtle tone of color. Instead of more of a blended look, I'm looking to create a new tone or a new shade. Here in the center, I'm going to use the soft suede combo. I have the lightest shade here first, and I'll add that here to the center. I'll use the dark soft shade to add a little definition here. I'll give that a few seconds to evaporate. I'll come back over with the light soft suede and blend those two shades together. For the stem and part of the leaf, I'm going to be using the Old Olive combination. This is the lightest marker first, and I'll be filling in a small area of that stem and some of the leaf. Just like before, we'll need to wait for some of that to evaporate. And now we're ready to add a darker shade. I'm going to turn this to make it easier for my hand. I'm going to add a little bit of darker color here along the edge for some definition. Now that that's had some time to evaporate, I'm going to go ahead and use the lighter color to blend those shades together. So I'll have some lighter and some dark areas. I'll be using the 1 3/8 inch scallop circle punch to punch out my image. I'm going to center that here just using some of that leaf image, and we'll go ahead and punch that out. I want a layer to go around this to play up some of that color, so I decided to bring in some gold foil. And for this layer, I'm going to be using the 1 1/2 inch circle punch. I'll line that up and then I'll punch out my layer. I'll be using my silicone craft sheet to add adhesive to the back side of my daisy image. The silicone craft sheet is wonderful since adhesive, liquid glue, and hot glue will not stick to it. It's going to keep my work surface nice and sticky free. And I'm just going to add those two layers together. From the beautiful Ornate Layers dies, I've pulled out the large Ornate frame. And just before you joined me, I took the liberty of die cutting it on Whisper White cardstock. This beautiful designer series paper is part of the Ornate Garden Suite. There are absolutely beautiful patterns here, gorgeous rich tones, and in addition to that, it is double-sided. And you're going to notice that 4 of these 6 patterns have gold foil finishes on them. Beautiful for all year round and all types of cards, some of which don't have themes. I cut the designer series paper so that it'll fit nicely inside this ornate frame. I'm going to flip that over and I'm going to add adhesive to the back side. That'll get adhered here to the center of my frame. My card base is a piece of early espresso cardstock. I did score it in half before you joined me. I'm going to go ahead and fold it up, and I'll use my bone folder for that nice crisp edge. Since I didn't want to hide the details of those beautiful eyelet openings, I decided to use dimensionals on the back side to elevate this layer. So I'm going to add dimensionals in all of my 4 corners. I'm going to add dimensionals to the side, and then I'll add several more to the center area of my card so that it's well balanced for the mail. I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool with the paper piercing tool attachment to remove those paper backings. Not only does this tool help me lift off that paper backing, it also corrals those small pieces. This now will get centered here on the front of the card base. I've got my paper trimmer here, and I'm going to cut off one side of this. Now you certainly can use your scissors. I'm going to line this edge up at the very top to make sure that it's nice and straight. This black area here is the cutting strip. And then I'll bring the arm down and just slice. I'm going to take my greeting and I'll flip that over and I'm going to add adhesive to the back side. This now will get adhered here to the lower portion of my card. I'm careful to align that cut edge to the edge of the designer series paper. And you remember our daisy image? I'm going to flip that over. I'm going to add 2 dimensionals to the back side and we'll remove those paper backings as well. This is going to get adhered here to the left-hand side of my card. I'm careful to make sure that this side is not going to extend past the fold of my card so it'll reach in and out of the envelope, and really beautiful. But I promised you several other samples using this suite of products. This card uses the designer series paper as the focal point. I used a different border here and one here for the bottom, some gold foil, and beautiful gold gilded gems. These gems are also part of the suite, and they come large, medium, and small, giving you lots of options for your paper crafting. My final card is for those that love to color. This uses alcohol-based Stampin' Blends markers in a various color combination. I did use a border from one of the frames in a unique way to create a decorative edge. And that beautiful ribbon is also part of that suite. The ribbon comes in a combination of terracotta tile and old olive, which coordinate beautifully with the suite of designer series papers. The Ornate style stamp set can be purchased separately or as a bundle, which will save you 10% to include the Ornate Layers dies. The Ornate Thanks stamp set is available separately or as a bundle with the Ornate Borders dies. And if you like it all, you can buy the entire suite of products, which would include the stamps, the dies, the designer series paper, a beautiful coordinated embossing folder called Ornate Floral, the ribbons, and the gold gilded gems that I shared with you. These products are available on a promotional basis between now and May 31st. And this is just a few of the beautiful cards that you can make. If you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you are interested in receiving complimentary copies of the current catalogs, head over to lisasstampstudio.com and click on Contact Me. If you have enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up here on YouTube, which is a like. It certainly helps. And I would love to know which one of these cards is your favorite. Leave me a comment below. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great day.